Kanan and Hera in Star Wars Rebels Disney XD. This is a busy time for the Star Wars franchise. Star Wars The Last Jedi is just around the corner. Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels is underway and beginning to tie together the loose ends, and the Han Solo movie has finished production and will follow The Last Jedi in the theaters by 6 months. There has been plenty of intriguing news in the last few weeks for all of these aspects of the Star Wars universe. We took a look at the most interesting stuff, including a massive potential spoiler for The Last Jedi and a fateful meeting between Hera Syndulla and Han Solo. Adam Driver talks about The Last Jedi Kylo Ren in Star Wars The Last Jedi Lucasfilm. In an interview with GQ, Adam Driver, the actor portraying Kylo Ren, went out of his way to discuss a few of the interesting aspects of playing such a layered character. He also dropped this eyebrow-raising nugget: you have also the hidden identity of this princess who's hiding who she really is so she can survive, and Kylo Ren and her hiding behind these artifices, Driver says. GQ goes out of their way to assume that Driver was talking about Rey, but we pretty strongly believe that he's actually mentioning Kylo Ren's mother, Leia. She is an actual princess, and would have a real reason to want to hide her true identity. In the New Republic, Leia would rightfully be weary of letting people know that she is actually the daughter of Darth Vader, who, despite his redemption in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, is widely remembered for his evil history. Mark Hamill insulted by Rian Johnson's vision for Luke. Mark Hamill in Episode 8 Lucasfilm. In a recent interview with the New York Times, Mark Hamill didn't hold back on how he felt about Luke's role in The Last Jedi. Some of the words he uses to describe his reaction to director Rian Johnson's vision are pretty damning. "That's the hard part," Mr. Hamill said. "You don't want to admit how possessive you've become. There are times where you go, really, that's what they think of Luke? I'm not only in disagreement, I'm insulted. But that's the process and you thrash it all out. To say that it was insulting, well, is pretty strong wording." This isn't the first time that Hamill has openly admitted that he was upset with how Disney has handled the sequel trilogy, either. He wasn't a big fan of his lack of screen time in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and he previously said he fundamentally disagreed with Johnson on Luke. But Hamill also has said a lot of good things about The Last Jedi, so there is still reason for hope. Ron Howard reshot nearly all of Solo. Ron Howard and George Lucas. Alberto E. Rodriguez. Getty Images. It's no secret that respected Hollywood veteran Ron Howard took over the Han Solo anthology film because Disney was concerned about the work of previous directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. It was a curious move, at the time, because of the very conflicting styles of the different directors. Lord and Miller are known for their hit comedy 21 Jump Street, while Howard has done such renowned dramas as Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind. Recently, there has been the news that the official title for the movie is Solo: A Star Wars Story, which seems like it literally took zero effort or thought from Disney execs. But the most notable news out of Solo is the recent revelation that Howard reshot the vast majority of the movie, which was more than halfway through principal photography under Lord and Miller. It was believed, at the time, that most of what they shot was usable. Apparently Howard felt otherwise, and the other result was the original budget nearly doubling. It'll be interesting to see what, exactly, the tone of Solo will be. If it ends up being a more serious affair, fans will always be curious what the version of the film they never got to see looked like. But that is going in the vault at Disney, likely never to see the light of day. Hera Syndulla meets Han Solo. Proof that Hera Syndulla remains with the Rebel Alliance. Star Wars Forces of Destiny. On October 30th, Disney released 2 new Star Wars Forces of Destiny shorts on YouTube. One of them featured a cool moment in which Hera Syndulla met Han Solo. But the interesting thing about it, the short took place in the moments following the Battle of Endor, with Solo going to Syndulla, who is loading supplies onto the Ghost with Chopper, and requesting rations to keep the Ewoks from cooking stormtroopers. Since these short videos are in the official Star Wars canon, that confirms that General Syndulla indeed survives the end of Season 4 of Rebels, as well as the Battle of Scarif in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Where she is during the Battle of Yavin and the Battle of Hoth in the original trilogy is anybody's guess, but we're guessing the rest of the story will be filled in at some point. Hera isn't the only character from Rebels that fans have questions about. Kanan and Hera, who seems to have a romantic entanglement with Hera, Ezra, Zeb, and Sabine, all have storylines that need to be wrapped in a sensible way over the final episodes of the series. Saw Gerrera plants Seed of Doubt with Ezra Bridger in Star Wars Rebels Disney XD. Speaking of Ezra Bridger, the Jedi Padawan has been extremely busy in the early episodes of Season 4. He helped Sabine rescue her father on Mandalore, took a mission for Mon Mothma that ended in he and Sabine being rescued by Saw Gerrera, and eventually fought alongside, and got metaphorically stabbed in the back by, Gerrera when they discovered that the Empire was moving a massive kyber crystal. But during his time with Gerrera, there were plenty of seeds of doubt planted in Ezra's mind. One of the best early moments from the final season of Rebels was an interaction between Saw and Mon Mothma, in which the rogue fighter accused the Senator of not being willing to get her hands dirty in a war with the Empire. For his own part, Ezra has been consistently frustrated with the rebellion's lack of interest in keeping good on a promise to help his homeworld, Lothal. All of this is setting up what will need to be Ezra's exit from an official role in the rebellion. It's important to remember that a major theme in the original trilogy is the lack of Jedi influence. Ezra and Kanan are not only Jedi, but Jedi working with the rebels in what would have to be less than a few months prior to the events of Rogue One. The characters have to be written out of the story soon, one way or another. Ezra's building doubt in Mon Mothma and the rebellion are making his path more clear. What is the Loathed Wolf? The Loathed Wolf in Star Wars Rebels Season 4 Disney XD. The Loathed Wolf, a resident of Ezra's homeworld of Lothal that was thought to be extinct, made an appearance in the 6th episode of Season 4 of Rebels. It shows up mysteriously to help Ezra and Sabine escape the pursuit of Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Empire. Apparently, only Ezra can see the wolf, which makes it all the more mysterious in nature. There has been some fan speculation that the Loathed Wolf, previously seen in the trailers for Season 4, is the reincarnation of Ahsoka Tano, who maybe or maybe not died in the Season 2 finale when she went toe-to-toe with the dark shadow of her former master, Darth Vader. But Dave Filoni, the creator of Rebels, took to his personal Twitter account to be very clear that Ahsoka is most definitely not the Loathed Wolf. However, his tweet can also be read as hinting that we'll learn more about her fate before the series ends. Sabine encounters Jyn Erso on a mission. The Other Forces of Destiny short features Rebels Sabine Wren taking on a mission and running into a familiar face, Jyn Erso. As far as timelines go, it's unclear when this happens. It obviously falls ahead of Rogue One. Spoiler alert, Jyn dies at the end of the movie, but just how long is up for debate. Maybe a year before her involvement in stealing the Death Star plans. At any rate, the story takes place on the Outer Rim world of Garrel. Sabine is attempting to flee from stormtroopers by jumping from rooftop to rooftop in Garrel City, all while trying to get away with some sort of holomap. At one point she drops it and it gets scooped up by Jyn. Eventually, the troopers begin to chase Jyn and Sabine helps her escape. In turn, Jyn hands over the holomap to Sabine. The whole story is pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it's a cool little Easter egg for Star Wars fans to have these two characters crossing paths. Check out the cheat sheet on Facebook.